Hello, my name is Giseok Jang, and
And
his name is,
Soonhu,
and we will present about the evolution of the creatures today. First, this is our table of contents. First one is what is evolution? Second one is who is Charles Darwin? Third one is example of evolution of animals. Fourth is example of evolution of plants. Fifth is example of evolution of humans. Next one is example of evolution of bacteria. Next is conclusion, and finally is references.
what is evolution? Evolution is the process by which species of organism change over time through genetic variation and natural selection. It explains how organisms adapt to their environment, develop new traits, and diversify into new species. These changes occur over generation, driven by mutation, gene flow, genetic drift, and selective pressures like survival needs or environmental changes. Evolution is supported by evidence from fossil records, genetics, and observable adaptation in nature, such as antibiotic resistance in bacteria or the development of long neck in giraffe. And who is Charles Darwin? Charles Darwin was a British naturalist best known for developing the theory of evolution by natural selection. His groundbreaking work on the origin of species proposed that species evolve over generations through variation that enhance survival and reproduction. Darwin's observations during his voyage on the HMS Beagle, especially in the Galapagos Island, shaped his ideas. His work laid the foundation for modern evolutionary biology and greatly influenced science and society. And the next, as an example of animal evolution, we'll explain giraffe as representative. Giraffe has very long neck, tall neck. But how about a long time ago? Does it always have a long neck? The answer is no. A long time ago, the environments and the animals and plants were all different from what we think today. At that time, the grass was not located in a low place, or the trees themselves were not big. But the environment is always changing. As a result, the trees became taller and the grass began to be located higher. Giraffes had to choose. They died after maintaining their short neck. They gave birth to the long-necked giraffe we know, and now only long-necked giraffe remain. Next, I'm going to illustrate about plants. The evolution of cacti is the natural selection. The definition of natural selection is that organisms with traits best suited for their environments have a higher chance of survival and reproduction, passing this trait to next generation. Next, the evolution of cacti's process is that ancient cacti had leaves and lacked feature of modern cacti. Over time, they adapted to arid conditions through significant changes. There are two evolutionary hypotheses. First, the water conservation hypothesis. This is the leaves transformed into spines to minimize water loss, while stems thickness to store water. These adaptations allow cacti to thrive in dry environments. Second, the predator avoidance hypothesis. The spine acted as a defense mechanism, deterring herbivores. Cacti with more spines were more likely to survive and reproduce, passing this trait on.
Next is evolution of humans. Humans, such as Asian and Westerns, black people, and white people, all have different appearances. Also, black people have better motor skills. For example, height, muscle, motor vision than others. Why? Why they have different in their body? If we want to know that, we should know the history of the human, the evolution of human. The first human is Sahelanthropus chilensis. About 6 or 7 million years ago, it looks like chimpanzee, and it is an early species that is considered close to the common ancestor of humans. This specific is small brain size, around 350 cubic centimeters, and similar to modern chimpanzees, like this, and flat face and small canis, resembling later human ancestors. With their adaptations, the position of the foramen magnum suggests the ability to work upright, like this. And robust skull, thick brow ridges, and strong jaw structures. In here, they have strong jaw structures. And next human is Ardipithecus ramidus. He is about 4.5 million years ago. They adapted to both life in trees and on the ground. They have upright working traits like this. And this is the specific of Ardipithecus ramidus. In here, the important thing is small brain size around 300 to 350 cubic centimeters, similar to modern chimpanzees. It is not changed before Sahelanthropus chilensis. And the environmental lived in wooded habitats, challenging the idea that bipedalism evolved in open savanna. And next human is the Australopithecus, about 3.9 to 2.9 million years ago. They worked upright and showed early signs of tool use, like this. We can show in here some tools like some rock. And the special thing is bipedalism, fully capable of working upright, with adaptation in the pelvis and lower limbs. And it was bigger than the Ardipithecus ramidus, the brains, and larger than apes, but smaller than modern humans. Their brain is bigger than before humans, but it was smaller than now us. And next one is Homo habilis. Homo habilis is about 2.4 to 1.8 million years ago. They were well known handyman, and their brain size increased before the Australopithecus. And Homo erectus. Homo erectus is about 1.9 million to 11 million years ago. Used fire, made more sophisticated stone tools, like used fire, and used some stone tools, and were the first humans to leave Africa and move into Eurasian. They moved at African to Eurasian. The French, like Europe. And final one is Homo sapiens. These humans are about 3,000 years ago. They are the modern humans that survive to this day and have developed complex languages and cultures. And conclusion of evolution of humans, the reason why Westerns or other people change is the Westerns have a big noses and white skin. This is for survive at environment. The environmental factors, namely skin turns white in cold, and climate and large noses in dry atmospheres have evolved to reduce water loss, like this. And this is part of evolutionary adaptation for humans to survive and thrive in certain areas.
Next, the last example of evolution is about the bacteria. Bacteria, like all organisms, undergo evolution, which is particularly evident in their response to environmental pressure such as antibiotics. One striking example is Staphylococcus aureus, a bacterium responsible for various human infections, including skin infections, respiratory issue, insulin sinusitis, and food poisoning. To combat this infection, antibiotics like methicillin have been widely used. However, as aureus has developed resistance, evolving into methicillin resistant Staphylococcus aureus, aka MRSA. This resistance occurs through genetic mutation or horizontal gene transfer mechanisms that allow the bacteria to adapt and survive. In the case of MRSA, mutations in genes that produce penicillin binding proteins render methicillin ineffective. Horizontal gene transfer, such as acquiring resistant genes from other bacteria, also contribute to its evolution. This adaptation ensured the survival of S. aureus despite medical interventions. The rise of MRSA highlights the power of natural selection. When exposed to antibiotics, bacteria without resistance die off, leaving only the resistant ones to reproduce. Over time, the population becomes predominantly resistant, making infection harder to treat. This process emphasized the need for careful antibiotic use and the development of new treatment strategies to address the ongoing evolution of bacteria.
The conclusion is all living things evolve. Evolution is a great weapon for living things to fight back against nature. And no matter how hard the earth is, they evolve, adapt, and live in those times. Even though you're all very tired right now and everything seems difficult. If you evolve and adapt more later, your world will feel like a happy future too. So that's the end of our presentation. And this is our references. Thank you so much and enjoy your class.